Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and on today's episode we have a video here from Locke the Bounty Hunter titled Modern Wife Can't Handle Middle Age. So we're going to be kicking it off with this woman right here, who, to be honest with you, gets triggered. Okay, she goes a little bit nuts, she goes a little bit bananas here at men, because obviously men are the problem. And this woman right here, before we even jump into it, is just a really fantastic example, I think, of why a lot of guys don't want to date. Right? They're not interested in having long-term relationships with you. They don't want to take you seriously. I think this woman really encapsulates it quite nicely. So let's just jump right in. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
You want to know a phrase that as soon as I hear it, it's an instant eye roll? And I'm just warning you, this is gonna hurt some of your feelings. When a guy goes on a tangent about not all men, oh my gosh. And let me tell you why before Carl goes crazy in the comment section. There are some wonderful men out there, okay? I would know, I'm married to one. But
and there's the but, right? The but has to enter into the situation. Okay, so this woman is complaining about men that are getting triggered, apparently in her comment section. But it would seem to me that she's actually the one getting triggered. She's the one getting frustrated about this. And we could leave this point right here. She says, well, I know not all men are bad. I'm married to one. Okay, that's all the point that's trying to be made here. But of course, there has to be a but to it, right?
there are some wonderful men out there, okay? I would know, I'm married to one. But men who are not a part of the problem not only understand that there is a problem, but they don't feel the need to like prove it to the world and shout from the rooftops, not all men, not all men.
Really?
I hate to break it to you, lady, but we kinda do, especially when for the last decades, modern females have been going online to judge men for the downfall of humanity. And when this judgment is passed, it's usually based on emotions, hearsay, and conjecture, and
I love how women will make videos like this. They will sit here and say, well, you know, men are the problem, and actually it's this way, and men are trash, right, guys? Like, I mean, TikTok is literally littered with videos of women calling men all sorts of nasty things, right? But if you're a guy and you say, hey, wait a minute, I don't think I'm a terrible person. I don't think all men are terrible people. Oh, well, then you're part of the problem, right? Why are you here trying to let me know? Why are you going nuts at me, right? Why are you shouting it from the rooftops? I don't even think that men are necessarily shouting anything from the rooftops. They're just replying to how it is that women act nowadays. Okay, it's not like men are going completely overboard and we're just going ballistic over everything. No, a lot of guys are simply responding to the actions that modern women are taking, and they're opting out. It's really quite simple.
it's directed towards the bottom 90% of men. Is that all men? Of course not, but it's close enough to round up. We are constantly being accused of being angry, creepy, and violent. Our views are constantly being disregarded as you call us patriarchs, bigoted, or my personal favorite, incels. Personally, I don't care much for the phrase not all men because it sounds a little too meek, but it's the bare minimum a man can do just to stick up for himself against emotionally charged political hate mongers who want us to take responsibility for their lack of maturity.
They already know. They already know that we all know. Like, I don't know how to explain to these guys that not only if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it, but also if you hear phrases like women are afraid to walk alone at night because men, or women have to be careful of their drinks at bars because men, and you feel triggered by that, maybe you should unpack why.
I love the projection in these videos. It seems to me, guys, that this woman is the one who is triggered. Okay, and I love these arguments of like, well, you know, women feel unsafe walking home alone at night. To me, I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I feel unsafe walking home alone at night too. There are places that I won't go. There are places that I won't walk alone. You know what this is called? This is just called, you ready for it, guys? It's called common sense. But these people have to turn it into, oh, I'm a victim, right? I'm a woman, so I have to be very careful of these things. Do you know that most violent crimes are committed against men? We don't talk about that, though. right? We don't talk about these things. It's all, I'm a victim, you have to sympathize with me, and we don't actually really live in reality, right? Things aren't reality and common sense based. It's all, I feel this way, so women oppressed. Hilarious. But of course, guys, men are the ones who are triggered, apparently. This is news to me. I always see these videos like, men are triggered by this, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, this is news to me. I didn't know I was triggered personally, but there you go. I think one of the most disturbing things about these videos that we cover is that these women will claim to be high value and that they dislike men who are dishonest, but at the same time, they will sit there and put on 50 filters and 50 pounds of makeup to hide their terrible skincare. And guys, I don't want you to be like these women. I don't want you to have terrible skincare, which is why today's video is sponsored by Tiege Hanley. Guys, if you are not aware, Tiege Hanley is a skincare company for men that simplifies the entire process and gives you everything that you need to get started with nothing that you don't. Tiege Hanley has different kinds of systems to help you improve your skin health, but their level 1 system is probably what I would recommend to start. In it, you can get all of their basic stuff. You get their daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and you also get a PM moisturizer as well. And guys, let's just say for the sake of argument, perhaps you're not the brightest tool in the shed. Maybe you're a male feminist who hate watches these videos. I know there's quite a few. Well, the good news is that even with your IQ, you can probably figure out how to use the products because every box comes with instructions on how exactly to go about using them. The other good thing about Tiege is that if you head on over to the website, their website that is, they quite literally have thousands of 5-star reviews from all over the world, which I'll flash some up on screen now, which goes to show that a lot of men are trusting Tiege with their skincare. And guys, because Tiege is sponsoring today's video, we have an extra amazing deal just for you. Just click the first link in the description to get 30% off of your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you will also get 20% off for life. Also, just by the way, both gifts that you can choose between are of an extra $20 of value, either a silicone body scrubber or a nail and face grooming kit. Personally, I prefer the face grooming kit because it bothers me if my facial hair gets out of control, but that's just me and it works really well. So guys, don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start with Tiege today. And anyway, let's get back to today's episode.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
Well, that's just it, isn't it, lady? Modern women don't know that a majority of the men aren't the problem. If they did, they wouldn't feel the need to blame us for the complete collapse of society. This goes beyond a few innocuous statements. We are constantly being accused of felonies, assault in multiple forms, stalking, and messing with drinks, just to name a few.
Isn't it funny as well how men, right, deemed to be all that is wrong in society, right? We're this massive problem, but men are actually the ones that are holding up society. Like if we were to remove the roles that men are doing, right? Let's just say we withdrew a lot of men from the workforce, for example. I mean, there goes your electricity, there goes your plumbing, there goes your builders, okay? There goes the people that produce and design your iPhones. But of course, men are the problem in society. And this is the message that a lot of men are getting. I think it's most concerning when it's geared towards young men as well, who are still developing. I think a lot of older guys see this garbage and they go, well, I don't care. But I think in particular, a lot of younger men are impressionable, particularly those that grow up in broken families. I think it's very sad that this is the kind of messages that they are bombarded with. And a lot of guys internalize this crap of like, oh, well, I'm a bad person because I'm a man. That's not how it works at all.
Crimes that don't require a whole lot of evidence, just an accusation. And even if we have rock-solid alibis, sworn statements, and an overwhelming amount of evidence that proves the accusation is false, we're still forced to carry the social stigma for the rest of our lives. Hell, we can't even glance over at a woman for more than a quarter of a second before being labeled as a... And when you have that particular sort of Damocles arbitrarily hung over your head, you can't help but feel a little insulted when a TikToker goes online to disrespect you.
You know, guys, I actually saw a meme earlier today where it was like men trying to avoid ending up on some woman's TikTok in the gym. And it was some like cartoon of a guy staring at the floor. And he's like, ah, yes, the floor is made out of floor. Meanwhile, there's some woman just standing there in booty shorts trying to catch him being creepy at the gym. But it's so true, right? As a dude, you get labeled with this stigma if a woman accuses you of absolutely anything. Okay, like this will stick with a dude for lives, particularly if you're someone who lives in a small community, I would imagine, right? If you're someone who lives out of a city or so, like out of a city, I would assume that this also sticks a lot more. But, you know, women wonder why men don't talk to them in the gym, or they don't talk to them at coffee shops anymore, or they don't approach women, okay? And these are some very valid reasons why. As men, if the woman pulls the, oh, he's a creep card, all of a sudden there goes that man's social life. So have fun with that, okay? And I saw a lot of people talking about this before with like the gym and stuff like this, and they were saying how, you know, men aren't helping women if they have issues with the weights. Well, why should we? I think a lot of guys are sensible for not going out there and helping the women with the weights, okay? There are a lot of situations where men, if they're trying to help people, they actually just end up endangering themselves. But let's continue.
You know how many times on the internet I've seen guys complain about women who play hard to get or toxic, or women who are just after guys' money? And I've never once felt the need to go, well, not all women, because I know that. I know they're not talking about me because I don't act that way. And the worst part is I could sit here and explain it all day, and some of y'all just still won't get it.
You're absolutely correct, madam. I don't get it. The men are just making the point that not all men are as terrible as you say, and here you are getting triggered in your car about it. You know, if you understand it, but it triggers you, that sounds like it's a you problem. But guys, we have to make these videos of crying and I don't know who this woman's husband is, but good luck to him. Good luck.
Like, if you don't want to be associated with the problem, just don't be part of the problem. It's not that hard.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
I can't help but appreciate the irony of a woman who's getting defensive over men who are just speaking up for themselves, especially when her solution is to tell us to bury our heads in the sand and not be part of the problem as if we were originally. Lady, calling out a chick for being a gold digger is not the same thing as elected government officials, televised political commentators, and TikTok influencers who accuse us of being violent psychopaths. This kind of stuff has drastic real-world repercussions that have catastrophic effects on men's lives. So
I love the way that Locke put that, because it really is quite systematic. Okay, there are a lot of sources at the moment, big sources, big media sources, big TikTok influencers, and I really hate the word influencers, but a lot of these people are trying to convince other people that men are terrible, men are bad, and as if you as a guy say, well, wait a minute, we're not necessarily all bad, then you're part of the problem, apparently. It's like, just let us shame you, you know, just sit there, just take it like good little dogs and don't say anything about it. And if you say anything about it, then you're part of the problem. I think it was on an article that I covered on a recent video where it said that, like, I don't know, men were dangerous for X reason. And I'm like, a lot of guys are not dangerous, okay? It's just, you know, you try and shame people to a certain extent, and it just doesn't work, right? If you try and come out and you say that all men are dangerous and that men are this and men are that, people are eventually going to look at you and be like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like, the men are going to sit there and going to be like, well, I'm going to check out then. And so, you know, don't come crying and complaining to me when you're 35 and you're single and you're living alone with your cats, or your marriage doesn't work out, because it already seems like it's heading in that direction.
So as men who are tired of having the finger pointed at us for crimes we've never committed, nor would we even consider committing, we have a duty to call out this behavior whenever it happens. And if you don't like it, well, then you already know it's not aimed at you. So instead of telling us to calm down, maybe you should take your own advice and shut up for once. Because if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Checkmate.
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 Dang.
It's about year 45. I'm trying to find my husband in a coffee shop. I live in San Diego and I work from home, and I absolutely hate the dating apps. Because I'm self-employed, I don't really interact with people on a daily basis. I need to start putting myself out there. I'm trying to find the best coffee shop in San Diego to go to find attractive and successful men. I usually end up driving somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna go today.
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
We are living in a golden era of modern women. Ladies who put in way too much effort and go to businesses in an attempt to try to find a husband. Woman, it's a coffee shop, not a husband store. You just can't walk in and pick a man. Any man that's going there isn't looking for a wife, especially the kind of man you seek. I can assure you of that much. The kinds of men who are young and successful don't need to look for a woman at a coffee shop. He already has the pick of the litter when it comes to women, and you're not even worthy of being called the runt of that particular litter. And
Guys, I have always said this on this channel, okay? But if a woman has to actively, number one, make TikTok videos of herself, but number two, deliberately put herself in situations to find men because she can't find a man, you already know that she has a problem, okay? And the reason why is because dating is not hard for women. Okay, I've made this point so many times, I'm out of breath saying it, but women can have their husband, they can have their long-term boyfriend, they can have these things, but what they want is they want the guy at the top. They don't care about the man who's struggling. They don't care about the guy who doesn't have great photos on Instagram. They don't care about these men who are not there yet. They want the men who have made it. They want the guys who are successful, who are attractive, and everything else is, well, you know, she's just settling, and she doesn't want to settle for less than she deserves. Okay, so I don't have sympathy for these women, and I think it is a huge red flag when you have girls deliberately trying to hunt for husbands. Right? Can you guys imagine if dudes were out here making videos like this, like, oh, I'm going to go out there and try and hunt for my wife. I'm going to go and try and look for my wife. What ends up happening is men get called creepy. But when women do this, it's like, yes, queen, you know, the dating is so hard. It's so difficult. Dating is not hard for women. I'm sorry. It's just not.
And it's nothing short of amazing that you think these young, successful men have nothing better to do with their time than just hang out at a coffee shop and wait to be hit on by older, average-looking women. Most of us just want to be left in peace, but apparently that's too big of a favor to ask nowadays.
I also decided I'm gonna start having random conversations with strangers because I don't do a very good job of talking to people when I'm in the coffee shop. So now if I see an attractive young fellow, I'm gonna try to go up and actually chat him up. I have no idea what I'm gonna end up saying, but honestly, I think just even making friends, it'll be nice. Okay, I'm gonna finish my makeup and then I'll show you the fit. My makeup is done, very basic today, but I feel like it looks good.
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
So your plan to find a husband is to just wing it and hope that the sheriff of Chattingham is willing to settle for less, huh? Well, I guess that beats getting your passport and trying to find a husband in a foreign nation. It keeps the toxic chaos contained within our borders of unreasonable insanity. Now,
I saw a really funny comment on, I think it was one of my videos the other day, guys. Maybe, I think you guys said this on the Young Turks video that I did recently, where the news anchor, whatever her name was, she was getting really frustrated that men were going overseas to find wives, and she was trying to pretend like she wasn't mad about it. But one of you guys commented that, isn't it interesting how no men who are not in Western, no man is coming to, for example, America to find his dream wife, right? People aren't exactly flooding to Western countries to find their dream wives and things like this. Isn't that just it's an absolute head scratcher, isn't it, when you think about it? You know, why is it that men elsewhere are not coming to places like America, are not coming to Western countries to find the girl of their dreams? Okay, and it might have something to do with the fact that it is very, very, very difficult to find the woman of your dreams in a Western country. Okay, yes, these girls making TikToks, not every girl is out there making TikTok, but there is a very large amount of women who are clinically insane, and they are womanists, right? I know, you know, in a lot of places, especially in Australia, guys, it's actually considered socially unacceptable if you are not a womanist, right? You'll actually be socially excluded in a lot of places if you don't subscribe to this ideology.
I'm going to give this broad the benefit of the doubt and assume that she's being sarcastic when she says she's been trying to do this for 45 years. Now, if you were a decade younger, an awkward conversation with a man might be seen as cute and endearing and might actually work, but she's obviously closer to her 30s than she is her early 20s. The problem is, you're older, and the same tactic when you do it just makes you come off as annoying at best and desperate at worst.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to hand in your homework late. Right? What we do is we don't care about finding the Prince Charming. We don't care about actually sorting out our life and our life goals when we're in our early 20s. But when we start to push 30, then we have to start rushing things, and then we have to try and find our husband real quick, because this entire last decade, we have been screwing around, but now we want to find a good man. And guys, make no mistake, this woman says that she's going to coffee shops and she's going to find and talk to, you know, a couple of attractive guys, but like really rest assured that she will not be taking a dude seriously unless he quote unquote ticks all of her boxes, right? In other words, if the man is not super attractive, she doesn't care. She absolutely does not care about the average man. That's why women can get to this age. I don't know what she is, like 26, 27, no idea really. But she can get higher up in age and still not have a boyfriend, is because she doesn't want to settle. But let's continue.
Trust me, sister, it's not going to work out as well as you think.
I feel like the fit is giving 2016 college for me. It's literally 80 degrees in San Diego. Like, what else do I wear? It's not really saying successful entrepreneur, but maybe it could. I don't know what to wear. Trial and error. I'm gonna wear this today. The one thing about me is that I'm not afraid of rejection and I will shoot my shot. Has it been successful so far? No. But will it one day be successful? Maybe.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And this is how you know that women only care about the top percentage of men. Okay, so she says that she's here shooting her shot. Let's just assume we can believe her and she's actually shooting her shot. But, you know, she says she's going out there and she's talking to guys, but, you know, nothing has really been successful. Men are not complicated. Men are not difficult creatures. Men are not hard to figure out. So if you can't get what you want from a man, if you cannot get a relationship, that's on you. That really, really is on you. But it just goes to show that the average guy is not even taken into consideration at all.
All right, off to find my future husband at the coffee shop. See you guys later.
Good luck.
You know what, gentlemen and gents? I've been harboring a deep, dark secret for a long time, and I can't hide it anymore. It's time that you know my shame, and that shame is I'm not a fashion expert. I mean, I've put next to no effort when it comes to caring about how a woman dresses, but even with that being said, even I know you're way too old to be dressing like that. You look like a woman who's desperately trying to get a man to notice you. What you're wearing is unflattering and kind of pathetic in all of the worst possible ways. Now,
I don't think a lot of these women realize that maybe they would be a lot more attractive as a person if they were modest, right? Modesty is something that has just been absolutely thrown out the window, but a lot of women would certainly benefit from it. They would probably have a lot easier of a time attracting a man in the long term if they were actually modest people. Not doing it because they're trying to manipulate the guy and pretend they're modest, but if they were actually modest people, they would probably get a lot further in their relationships with men.
I'm gonna give you some credit. You're willing to shoot your shot, which is nice. And though you have the right idea, your aim and timing are way off target. Because when you do that to the good sheriff, that young, successful man is going to assume a soccer mom is bothering him with the intent on using him to cheat on her husband. And all he wants to do is run his business in peace.
This is just so shocking. I mean, I must just be so monumentally naive.
You are.
Today, my husband hit me with one of the worst insults I've ever had in my entire life. Generally speaking, this man is a complete golden retriever of a husband. He's always hyping me up, telling me I'm beautiful, he loves my cooking, tells me I'm a boss all the time when he hears me handling my business at work. So he's also older than me, so every now and then a song will come on and it'll be like, this is my jam, and I'll hit him with the, oh, I was in kindergarten.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Oh boy, we already know where this is going. Your husband, who seems like a stand-up guy and is fiercely loyal to you, made some kind of a passing comment about your age and it destroyed your fragile ego. However, it's totally okay for you to be constantly straight up making fun of your husband because of his age, which is
Yeah, and of course, not only that, but we're choosing to post it online to strangers. It is absolutely astounding to me how these people think that it's appropriate to just get online and smack talk their partners and air dirty laundry online. If I was this man, I would be straight up embarrassed to have a wife like this, okay? Gone are the days where people just kept their mouth shut, right? And kept their private lives to their private lives. Nowadays, it's like we have to just shame men for absolutely everything. We have to, oh, husband does something we perceive as wrong, well, gotta go tell the internet about it. Okay, and this is why so many of these women are just intolerable, is they don't actually have fundamental respect for the person that they're with. And if you don't respect the person that you're with, if you don't like the man that you're with, hey, maybe don't get into a relationship with him in the first place. You know, go on, queen, never settle, stay single. Enjoy your cats. Enjoy the boxed wine, okay? A lot of guys would be a lot more stress-free if they didn't have to deal with this nonsense.
Which is a great way to show your lack of respect for the man, as well as your egregious double standards. You assume a lot of men out there aren't sensitive about their age, and to some extent, you're right. But for a lot of other men out there, it's still kind of a dicey subject, and making comments about it isn't a very nice thing to say. And for the record, you have no right to make fun of your husband for liking Unbelievable by EMF. The 90s were a simpler time with way better music than any of the garbage you ever liked.
So this morning, I'm in the bathroom getting ready. He comes in to talk to me, and I say something like, you know, I just feel my anxiety creeping back up. It was gone, and now it's coming back in. And he says to me, damn, this whole middle-age thing is harder than they said it would be. Middle age? Me? No, sir. I do not accept.
Wait, so this woman, just straight up, I mean, in her own words, she doesn't accept reality here. If you're middle-aged, you're middle-aged. Why are we sitting here trying to deny reality? It's so funny how, like, we just get offended about absolutely anything. Yes, madam, you are middle-aged. Okay, but what does she do? She gets offended about it. She says, no, I'm not middle-aged. And what's the first thing we do, guys? We have to take to TikTok to complain about the way her husband is treating her. Oh, get out of here. This is why, like, I swear, so many of these dudes in these relationships must be so stressed because you can't say anything without these women just getting pissed off and trying to make a TikTok video about you. I think a lot of these guys would straight up be better just by themselves, to be honest.
Me? No, sir. I do not accept.
Old. Old? Old.
Wait a minute, that's it? For a second, I thought your husband called you grandma or Saint Agnes or something like that, but all he did was make a passing comment about your middle age, and it almost even sounds kind of empathetic, because woman, you are middle-aged.
He probably could have been talking about himself as well.
You've reached the halfway point in your life. There's no shame in that. That's kind of sort of how time works, especially when you consider that you're married and you have kids. You accomplished your purpose in life and you did it before the halftime buzzer. That's something to be celebrated, especially in this day and age when there's an entire generation of you who completely screwed up so badly that they're reaching 40 and they haven't had kids or severely psychologically damaged the ones that they did have. Yes, the bar is set that low, but you can't accept that because of your insecure desire to be wanted by other men. Get over yourself, woman. Don't be a sore winner.
Now, I get that when I was in my 20s and any younger than that, I definitely thought 38 years old was middle age. But I keep this shit tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with like 50 pounds of makeup and a filter. It's so hilarious. I always, a lot of times, guys, as you know, Teach Hanley sponsors this channel. And like women like this are exactly what I'm talking about when I segue into the skincare ad of the channel, right? Because these girls will say, you know, like, I'm authentic, I like keep myself looking good, but they sit here, they put a filter over the top of their video, they put tons of makeup on, and then they want to try and convince you that they're not middle-aged and that they're the same as when they were 20. It's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I find it funny how this kind of deception, because that's what it is, deception, is totally fine. But for example, if a man deceives a woman and let's just say, I don't know, he lies about his finances or he, you know, is not accurate about them. Oh, well, then he's manipulative. He's like a predator. I mean, use whatever word you want, right? But of course, we can deceive the world however we like with how we look. But, you know, Lord forbid a man do that. Very interesting how that works. Guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to subscribe to Locke the Bounty Hunter. I'm going to leave his channel linked in the video description, guys, for putting together today's cringe for us to take a look at. And as always, guys, make sure that you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.